It is NFL divisional round, baby, part two. Who went 6-0 against the spread in wild card weekend? Listen, I kid you not. I am like super nervous about going into the divisional round based on the fact that 6-0 against the spread wasn't easy to do. Of course, it seemed to me like a lot of people had the San Francisco 49ers on the money line and taking the points on the road in Dallas in wild card weekend. And we'll talk about the San Francisco 49ers. It's been a minute since I've last spoken to our guest. Welcome, Gerry B, the prop king. Gerry and I used to work together back at the Team 990 slash TSN 990 way back in the day. But Gerry has kind of stayed relevant in the betting world. And I love talking about betting. I love finding the angles. I love talking about the numbers. Gerry, we have some amazing games. We'll tackle the two games today. We'll get into the two games tomorrow at this space at this very time. Gerry, welcome back. How's it going, brother?
Oh, it's going pretty good. Thank you for having me. It has been a long time. I think 15 years. I think when I worked at the team, they had rumors that Vincent LeCavalier was coming to the Montreal Canadiens. So that's how long ago it has been.
Yeah.
But I'm glad to be here. I mean, we used to speak about betting all the time. I mean, it has come a long way from where it was to where it is right now because it's everywhere right now.
Yeah, it is. And, obviously with whether it's offshore or places like mise au jeu type outfits now, single bets, betting is pretty much legal. I mean, they got betting parlors in the concourse of Oracle Arena where the Warriors play.
Exactly. You don't have to hide anymore to put in bets. You could just find it online pretty easy now. But very excited for this weekend.
No doubt. So we're going to get our odds from betonline.ag. They've got all the angles, all the prop bets entirely covered. So let's get going, Gerry. You focus mainly on what? Are you a sides, total, props guy? Like, what's your area of strength, if you could describe it?
I'm more of a props guy. I like game props. I like player props. I like to hit the spread too, but I find that when you look for player props or game props, there's more mistakes to find. I know sports books don't like hearing that, but you have to try and gain an advantage. And I find that there's more advantage when you look for something for the player or for the game, like a touchdown or interception. There's lots of stuff to bet other than the game.
Right. So let's get going. You ready to tackle the first game? Let's get going with the Bengals. Yeah, the Bengals and the Titans kick off at 4:30 today. Now, the Titans opened up as 3-point favorites. It jumped to 3.5. BetOnline.ag has them at Titans -4 at -110 with a total set at over under 47.5. If you're playing a money line pick in this game, BetOnline.ag has Titans -2.5. -205, and the Bengals on the money line at +175. So let's get some of the facts out of the way before we get into the nitty and the gritty here. It's been almost 20 years since the Titans won a home playoff game. They beat the Steelers in 2003. So it's been a minute. On the other hand, the Titans know what it feels like to win a home game in the playoffs. The Bengals have never earned a road playoff victory. They are 0-7 straight up when playing away from home in the NFL postseason. So, Gerry, let's throw it to you. What are you looking at the angles, the prop bets for the first game, 4:30 this afternoon, the Bengals and Titans?
A lot of things in this game I'm looking at. First thing, it seems like a lot of money is going on the Titans because the money line has been going up, and the spread, I think it opened up at -2.5, and now it's at 3.5, and I think AG has it at -4 right now. So all the money is coming on the Titans, but there's a lot of things to look at, especially for touchdown wise. And that's one of my favorite prop bets. Tannehill loves throwing to his tight ends in the playoffs. If you look at Jonnu Smith, who's with the Patriots right now, he always scored 2 touchdowns when he played in a playoff game for the Titans. He did have a couple of games within the last 2-3 years where he scored 2 touchdowns. Right now, the number 1 tight end for the Tennessee Titans is Anthony Ferguson. He's 6-1 to get a touchdown. I mean, it's very good odds to get him to score a touchdown at 6-1. So that's one of my favorite bets for this game. If they're on the 2-yard line, Derrick Henry's back. Of course, they'll feed him the ball, but that's what the defense expects. Play action, you'll find Anthony Ferguson in the corner or something and throw him the ball to get a touchdown. 6-1, I really like that.
I love that. You talk about Derrick Henry, who's going to be back. Let's not kid ourselves. I
Mhm.
mean, he's back. It's a completely different Tennessee Titans. It's a completely different Ryan Tannehill. We could talk about play action and what that means when Derrick Henry is back and being used
Oh yeah.
for Ryan Tannehill. The numbers are ridiculous. The splits are ridiculous with Henry, without Henry, right? So if you're looking at betonline.ag, Derrick Henry to score a touchdown in this game coming in at minus 250. So to Jerry, there's no risk. You got to risk $250 to win $100. Basically, is what that number tells you. But if you want to go a little bit more, if you think Derrick Henry, which I don't think Derrick Henry is going to get multiple touchdowns in this game. But if you do, it's plus 200 for Derrick Henry to score at least 2 touchdowns.
That would be the smarter bet. If you
I
want
agree.
to take a little risk reward, that is for sure the best bet. I do think Derrick Henry should score a touchdown. I mean, it's his first game in 8 weeks, I believe. I think he was out
Yep.
since week 11, week 10, Halloween. I like that plus 200 for him to score 2 touchdowns, but don't put your whole house on it, basically. You have to bet smart when it comes playoff times. That's one thing that I always look at, is to bet smart.
Yep.
You're going to lose. You're bound to lose when you're betting. You won't go 100%. You won't go 10 for 10. So you look for those little shiny bets, like a plus
So
200.
what if your bankroll, let's say your bankroll is like $200. Let's say your
Mhm.
bankroll is $100. For your tight end, what your prop bet for your tight end?
Yeah. If you have
What
$100, put $10 on it.
So a little $10. Same thing
Yeah,
on
just put a little $10 on it. Use 10% of your bankroll for the big ones. You want to go for the long shots, the Hail Mary, technically. Don't use your whole bankroll. You want to use basically 10 or 5 to 10% of your bankroll. If you're sure about a bet, you sometimes go 33%, but the odds are too high. And at 6-1, you have to go with Ferkser. I mean, $10 gets you $60. I mean, hey.
Exactly. So Ferkser to score a touchdown, big target tight end in the corner of the end zone. As
Mhm.
Gerry pointed out, everyone's game planning for Derrick Henry. Everyone's going to load the box up. Somebody's going to have to get the ball there. So that's going to take me to one of the prop bets I like. Ryan Tannehill over 237.5 passing yards, minus 114 at
Mhm.
betonline.ag in 8 games. Okay, so we talked about the crazy splits, right? Here they are. In 8 games with Derrick Henry by Tannehill's side, he averages 250. 250.3 if we want to be nerds, right? In 9 games without Derrick Henry, that number dips to 192.4. So you see we're talking about a 60-yard split between Derrick Henry with Ryan Tannehill without Derrick Henry, because we talk about the discrepancy. It's the effectiveness and how these guys use the play action pass when they're running the offense in Tennessee. So with Henry, it obviously makes it a very viable threat, and I think that's what we're going to see here. Now, the Titans, for what it's worth, they rank top 12 in the NFL in passing yards on play action. So play action is going to be very big for me in the 4:30 game. And despite, they didn't have Derrick Henry for 8 games. To Gerry's point, at the end of the regular season, the Cincinnati Bengals, how do they do when it comes to defending play action?
I mean,
Gerry, they're 27th in the league.
no. Wow.
Defending play action, Bengals 27th in the league. Titans running play action efficiency, 12th ranked offense in the National Football League. So when I look at the Titans averaging 7 yards per play, that's where I'm coming from. That's why I like Ryan Tannehill.
I like that.
It's over 237.5 passing yards for Ryan Tannehill. That number, by the way, it really crept up too. So if you can get on it now, I think now's the time to jump on it.
Yeah, and basically timing matters the most when you're putting in bets. And if it's going up, I mean, right now, jump on it. But I really like that bet because with the play action pass, you have A.J. Brown and Julio Jones. I know Julio Jones has been extremely quiet all season. I mean, it was his worst season. I mean, you can't deny it. He has 8 straight 50-yard playoff games right now. So, I mean, hey, Julio Jones to get the yardage. I haven't checked to see what it is on AG, but I do know that last I checked, he was 3-1 to get at least 60 yards. I like that bet for Julio Jones to have a big game. Not a big game, or a big game to his season standards.
Yeah. Well, I know he's healthy. He's ready to go. AJ Brown's at full health, just like Julio. So I think it for me anyway, it adds up to, I think Ryan Tannehill is going to have a big game. I think he's going to put the ball in the air. I think play action is going to be something to watch out for. So my 2 bets, I like Derrick Henry to score a touchdown in this game. You're going to have to, there's a lot of juice there, minus 250. But I really do. Gerry, there's no such thing as free money, but I think Derrick Henry scoring a touchdown is the closest thing, in my opinion, to free money. And Ryan Tannehill over 237.5. What passing yards? What are your best bets prop wise for the first game?
For the first game, like I said, Ferkser is the 6-1. I'm going with that. The 3-1, I didn't see it on here to bet online, but I really like Julio Jones to get a touchdown as well too. And Tannehill, you just brought it up. He's going to pass the ball. We keep talking about how offensively he's going to get over 240 yards. Titans might shock the Bengals and come out passing, but it's too hard to say what game plan the Bengals are going to bring to the Titans as well too, because we're talking all about the Titans right now and we're forgetting about the Bengals. One of the prop bets that I like as well too is Uzoma to get. Oh, there's my to tell me to start, Gerry, you have to start looking at stuff. But Uzoma of the Cincinnati Bengals, he has a touchdown in his last 2 games. I believe last week he had a heck of a game. He got 70 reception yards. I like him a lot too to get a touchdown today for the Bengals. Those are my 2 bets for this game: is Ferkser and Uzoma. 2 tight ends to get a touchdown. And that on some sites, or you could combine them both, that they both get a touchdown, and the odds are just ridiculous. And I saw one at 10-1 for both of them to get a touchdown.
Yeah, always, I like parlays. I'm always, a little hesitant. Sometimes, you can go 3 for 4 today, in your props and your spreads and your totals. You put all 4 together. Guess what? That's one big fat zero. That's one big fat loss. So as far as the side goes, I have a hard time not loving Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. I really have a hard time imagining that this Titans team is going to be able to nullify these guys. I mean, I've watched Joe Burrow. I watched Joe Burrow's magical college season with LSU, the improbable run to a national title. The guy's smoking big fat cigars. This guy oozes swagger. Every time he's running up and down the Bengals sidelines, I'm just a buyer that this guy was born to win. And when I watched him play last week, that was a hell of a game. I think a lot of people fell in love with the ending of the 49ers-Cowboys game. I personally believe the Bengals-Raiders game was the superior game of the 6 in what was a lackluster wild card weekend. And I just think, watching Joe Burrow operate, knowing that they have a good running game, knowing that their aerial game is not to be messed with. You talk about big tight ends and big targets for Joe Burrow, who has this. I know you can't quantify it with a number, but he has this swagger almost reminiscent of Tom Brady, dude, where I'm just never counting him out.
100%. And I think his press conference after last week's game, he was wearing pink Shaun Michaels sunglasses.
It's wild, bro. What do you do with that guy, man? What do you do with a guy with that much swag this early in his career? You know what I mean? Like, it's too much for me.
He fits Cincinnati. I'm surprised he is in Cincinnati, or he has that type of personality in Cincinnati.
I know.
But he's been so hot, though, in the last 4 or 5 games that something needs to happen. And I love him. I think he's a great quarterback. He is the future of the Cincinnati Bengals. But today, I think he might struggle a little bit. And the one thing about Joe Burrow, and that's one thing I'm going to key in, is the weather at kickoff.
Right.
The hotter the weather, the worse his stats are. If you look at how good Burrow is when the weather is actually a little bit chilly, it's ridiculous. His numbers when the temperature is under 70 degrees, it's mind-blowing. But if it's over 80 degrees, he struggles. And Jamar Chase as well, too, he struggles when the temperature is a little bit hotter. So I haven't checked to see what the weather is in Tennessee currently, or in Nashville. But that will be the key part, or the key stat that I'll look at when I'm looking at the over-under of passing yards for Joe Burrow.
Yeah. By the way, you can get the Bengals at 4. It started at 3, up to 3.5, now up to 4. They're talking about playing at Nissan Stadium in Nashville. I've been there. Awesome city. If you ever had the chance to go to Nashville, trust me. I mean, if you like, who gives a shit? Even if it's shitty country music, of which I'm not a big fan. Dude, live music with a drink in your hand with beautiful women everywhere in Nashville on Broadway. Mwah, chef's kiss.
I need to check that out then.
Dude, yeah. Listen, historical trends for what they're worth. I'm not a big buyer of historical
Me
trends. Like,
neither.
you're like what a Bengals team did in 1997 has no bearing on what this Bengals team in 2022 is going to do in the game today. But I'm going to mention it because somebody out there likes it anyway. The Bengals have covered the number in 6 of their last 7 games on the road. So they're taking 4. I'm going to take all 4.
You're taking the 4?
I'm just going to take. I'm not going to lay the 4. I don't trust the Titans to put away a team. I mean, yeah, I could see them winning by a touchdown, but the backdoor cover with Joe Burrow scares me. So give me the 4 points.
I am going to go the opposite way. Just because you said that stat, I'm the type of person to think, hey, if I know this, Vegas knows this as well too.
Yeah.
I like Titans.
And the number's going up. The spread's going up. It's been going up all week. So
that means there's shark money that's going on the Tennessee Titans right now. That means there's a lot of money that's coming to the Titans, but we still have 4 hours to kick off. There's some sharks that might throw some money on the Bengals side, the money line. So the spread might end up coming back to 3.5, 3.
Yeah.
Because basically how it works is sports books bring out odds so they can have 50-50 on both sides. So that means right now, all the money is on the Titans.
Well, I'm glad you said that because that's a common misconception when it comes to sports gambling. Somebody will, and I think we're talking more towards the rookie here than the seasoned sports bettor. That when they look at a number, they're like, "Oh, Tennessee -4. Oh, well, Vegas thinks the Titans are going to." No, the objective is, as Gerry correctly points out, to get 50% on -4, 50% on +4. That way, the man who takes the bets always wins. That's why you, as the bettor, takes the bus. The man who takes the bets takes the Cadillac to the casino. Okay, so a quick recap before we move on to what I think is the second sexiest game of the 4 NFL divisional round.
I agree.
Yes. Yeah, so we're on the same page. It's Kansas City and Buffalo is the sexiest game of the week, right?
Yeah. Oh,
okay.
Yeah. That's my number 1 game. And
Me too.
Oh, yeah. We'll get into that one tomorrow.
Tomorrow at 11 o'clock right here, facebook.com/InTheCarWithStar. Gerry B, the Prop King, and I will go over the remaining 2 games on NFL Sunday. It's the divisional round. So I'm going to recap my best bets for the 4:30 game, Bengals and Titans. Prop bet number 1, Ryan Tannehill over 237.5 passing yards, -114 at betonline.ag. I like Derrick Henry to score at least 1 touchdown. I also like him to score 2 touchdowns. You like him to score at least 2? That's +200. So a little sprinkling. Don't get aggressive. Don't go crazy. Just a little sprinkling, and let's hope for a little lady luck, and let's hope for a massive return at +200. And from a side bet, Gerry, I'm going to take Cincinnati in the 4 points. Your best prop bets and your best side bet.
I'm going with Anthony Firkser to get a touchdown. I'm trying to find the odds right now, but last I checked, he was 6-1, so that means he was a +600 to get a touchdown. People have to keep in mind, he only makes 1 or 2 catches a game. Right. And it's usually a touchdown. So, I mean, don't bet the house on it. Put 10% of your bankroll on that. And for CJ Uzama here, I'm trying to see what
you want a touchdown for 1 touchdown.
Yeah, for 1 touchdown.
+250. +250.
Okay, +2. Okay, but I just saw Firkser is +400. Okay, so
he's +400 for Firkser.
He's 4-1, but that's still a very good bet. And,
dude, a $10 bet gets you a $40 return.
That's 4 times your money. That's 4 straight bets, basically. So I mean, you forget 4 losses for that winning bet. And that's the smart way of betting. You always go for the long shots, the Hail Marys, because they make you forget all those bad losses that you had. And Uzoma +250. So those will be my 2 bets. And you know what? I'm going to go even further. Julio Jones at +225 as a secret bet. And I'll take as a secret bet. Like I said,
what does that mean? What the fuck is secret bet?
The secret bet is basically +225. I would have put it a little bit higher. Like in my opinion, the type of season that Julio Jones has had for the Tennessee Titans, he should be almost at +350, +400 to get a touchdown. Yeah. He's only +225. That's only double your money. So that's why I call it a secret bet, because there's something fishy about that bet.
Secret bets. I love secret bets. Okay, so hopefully you've followed along. There's some great odds. If Gerry hits today, that's like a 10-1 on our prop bets today. So again, a quick recap. He likes Anthony Ferkser to score at least a touchdown. That's plus 400. Also looking at this Bengals game now, we're going to get into the 49ers game in a second here. But CJ Uzoma to score a touchdown, that's plus 250. And the side bet, I'm going to go with the Bengals plus 4. Gerry is going the other side. So someone's going to be laughing tomorrow right here.
Yeah, but the sports books would love us. 50-50. There you go.
Amen, brother. BetOnline.ag. Okay, so you're ready to move on to the second game. This one kicks off at 8:15 tonight. It is the San Francisco 49ers and the Green Bay Packers. The Packers minus 5.5 at minus 107. The 49ers with the 5.5 minus 113. The money line, Packers minus 229. The 49ers on the money line plus 199. And the total at 47, under minus 106, over minus 114. So it gives you an idea of where things are going now. This is San Francisco's fourth straight playoff appearance where they have to face the Green Bay Packers. San Francisco, it's crazy to me, dude, that Aaron Rodgers is 0-3.
I know.
Isn't that wild to you? Like, how do you explain that?
It's really hard to explain. It's extremely hard to explain because you would think that's the team that he wants to beat the most too, especially in the playoffs, because that's the team he wanted to play with during the draft. And it's also where he's from. It's surprising that he is 0-3. When I read that set, I'm like, wow, how can he be 0-3 against the against the 49ers? It's a ridiculous stat. But again, Vegas knows.
Oh, we got Irish. You know Irish. What up, Irish? My Cowboys screwed up. I'm going with Green Bay. There's a comment from Irish. What up, Irish? Thanks for tuning in with Gerry B, the prop king. So let's get into this one. Where's George Kittle? Where's George Kittle been? He was MIA against Dallas. As a matter of fact, he has been MIA for a little bit. The wild card game capped off pretty much a 4-game stretch where he failed to hit at least 30 yards. Remember, this is one of the best, most dominant tight ends in the game. His 5 catches against the Rams for 10 yards, by the way, was more than week 16, 17, and 19 combined. So it goes to show you where he's been a little bit. But before that, he had been pretty hot. In week 3, he pulled in 7 catches for 92 yards against the Packers. So when I look at this, can Kittle rack up 8 catches today? Probably not. But when I look at this matchup, he's a massive target. And when I think of the cold weather, I spoke to Jay Richardson on the TSN 690 morning show. Jay Richardson played 6 years for the Raiders. He's an Ohio State Buckeye. This guy played on the frozen tundra at Lambeau Field. This guy was telling me, dude, you want fucking no part of playing on that field. It's going to be frigid tonight. And so when I think of the cold, when I think about how are we going to get points, how are they going to score games, big, strong tight end, cold weather, hard to tackle, Jimmy G's target, I'm going to go over 4.5 catches by George Kittle, minus 109 at betonline.ag. So over 4.5 receptions by George Kittle.
I like that bet a lot as well, too, because Garoppolo has a bad shoulder, right? So he can't throw it down the field 20, 25 yards with ease. So he's going to go to his blanket, his security blanket, which is George Kittle. And that 4.5 catch line, I like that a lot. And even that, I would almost go further. And he might get 6-7 catches today. I don't know about the yardage. I think it was, 2-3 weeks ago, he had 2 games in a row where he had 150 yards. You won't see that against the Green Bay Packer defense, who is surprisingly good. The Packers defense. And that's one of my bets as well, too. I see a defensive touchdown from the Green Bay Packers tonight.
Ooh, nice.
That's one of my bets.
If you think George Kittle is going to go off today, you think he's going to get, as I gave you, over 4.5. Over 6 is plus 110. So it looks, it's starting to look like it's starting to come back down to earth that maybe George Kittle is going to be maybe that big cold weather target for Jimmy G today.
Yeah, it's, if it's only plus 110 for 6 catches, something's fishy. Vegas knows something.
I agree. Okay, I'm going to move on to my second prop bet for the 49ers at Packers at 8:15. Aaron Jones has turned back into that type of featured back that can beat you several different ways. Debo, right? What did he say last week? He's not a wide receiver. He's not a running. He's a wide back. He could pretty much do everything. And so everybody loves A.J. Dillon. That hype train is still going off the tracks, no doubt. I think Aaron Jones is going to get his touches, and I think he's going to produce big time. The weather, again, I think is only going to help his case tonight. There's a chance that this game could turn into a pound and ground. Who's going to be the most dominant? What line is going to give up the yards easiest? So when I look at A.J. Dillon, when I look at Aaron Jones, I see no issues there in terms of what Jones has done. He has reached over 53 rushing yards in 9 of the 15 games this season, and he fell 6 yards shy in one other game. So he was right there. He was knocking on the door. So give me Aaron Jones over 53.5 rushing yards at a minus 114 betonline.ag.
The one thing I like that bet, but Green Bay is extremely weird when it comes to Aaron Jones. Every time he's hot, he's on fire. For some odd reason, they don't use him enough, and that's where A.J. Dillon comes into play. Yep. But playoff time, Aaron Jones, he's capable of having huge and monster games. He could put up 200 total yards with 3-4 touchdowns in a game. Aaron Jones, there's one Packer that's going to have a huge game today. The question is which Packer, and I think it's Davante Adams. I think he's coming up. I think he's showing up. He is the best wide receiver in the NFL, in my opinion. He's going against who I think will be the number one fantasy pick almost next year in Deebo Samuel. I like Davante Adams going off today. I see Davante Adams getting his...
How many? 10?
10, 11 catches. I see him going for 150 yards. I see at least a touchdown for Davante Adams, but if there was one player that I think that is going to go off, and especially when you say that the Packers are 0-3 against the 49ers, Aaron Rodgers wants to take care of that stat himself. I think Davante Adams will really have a huge game. And I'm looking at it right now.
Look at the number for 9. Look at the number for 9 and 10 for Davante Adams. 10 plus 242 for Davante Adams.
I would go for even that. Like, there's not many wide receivers that you would get, or you will get 10 receptions in a game, but only plus 242. Right. Usually it would be 6-1 or 8-1 or plus 800 plus 600. I mean, I think Davante Adams is going to go off tonight, and it's his game, primetime Saturday night. I think Davante Adams goes off, and I'll give him that one touchdown. Here, I'm looking. 100 yards receiving and a win for Green Bay is plus 110. So, I mean,
I love that. I love that.
That's double your money. If you're feeling like the Packers are going to win, but you don't want to bet the spread, but you want that plus money, go with the Packers and Davante Adams at plus 110. I think that's a very smart bet to double your money.
That's a great. So that's Davante Adams to score a touchdown, and the Packers need to win the game.
Davante Adams to have 100 yards receiving.
Okay.
And
that one.
Green Bay to win the game.
I love that bet. That would be my favorite bet of all the bets we've mentioned today. Davante Adams 100 yards receiving and the Packers to win. Dude, I mean, we already told you what the Packers money line price is. You know, it's basically 2.5, right? So, I mean, that's a great, I love that. Gerry B, the prop king, living up to the moniker. 100 yards receiving for DA, and the Packers just need to win this game. I'm just gonna pick up on something that you had mentioned. The fact that Aaron Rodgers is 0-3 against the San Francisco 49ers, knowing that I think this is one of those FU tours by Aaron Rodgers with the COVID toe and all that shit on the Pat McAfee podcast. Of course. You know, and listen, there is part of me, I am a proud member of Bears Nation. I am really cheering hard for the Packers to lose because I do think that if Aaron Rodgers loses this game at Lambeau tonight, he's done. He'll never throw another ball for the Packers ever again. So
I agree with you. That's what I was just thinking when you started talking about this game. This might be Aaron Rodgers' last game as a Green Bay Packer.
Yeah, if they lose, I think it is.
Yeah, because the thing about the Packers and what gives them some luck is Aaron Rodgers just loves playing football. He doesn't care who he plays for. He'll still show up. He'll put up the stats. It doesn't matter who he's playing for. He just wants to play football. And that's what I love about Aaron Rodgers. And if it is his last game, oh well. Great career with the Packers, and we'll see him either in Cleveland or Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. I had him at Pittsburgh personally. So let me get into my side pick here, okay? So Matt LaFleur 9-0 coming off a loss. The Packers
Yeah.
mailed it in the loss to the Lions last week in the regular season finale. We talked about Aaron Rodgers 0-3 lifetime against the 49ers, but this one's different. Like Jimmy G got lucky in Dallas last week. For me, it was a tale of two halves for Jimmy G. I like Jimmy G in the first half against Dallas. He was throwing crisp, accurate passes. Second half, I don't know if the shoulder injury bothered him, but he got very lucky. I think if Jimmy G makes those same mistakes in the second half against this Packer defense, he doesn't get away as luckily as I thought he did in Dallas. Green Bay, for what it's worth, has covered the spread in 7 of their last home games, and they're a perfect 4-0 against the spread in the divisional round. So I think this is where Aaron Rodgers flexes. I think he's going to flex those COVID toes all over Lambeau Field. It's a square bet, but I think it's a winning one. Green Bay minus 5.5.
No, I'm with you on that. I think the fact that they're 0-3 all-time against the 49ers in the playoffs, Vegas knows this, and they probably know there'll be some money on the San Francisco 49ers. But I'm with you. But the 5.5 is a little too high. I believe it opened up at 4 or 4.5, right?
Well, 6 is 6 is a nice number though. I could totally see it. I'm not that worried about the 5.5. They win by 2 field goals. That's a winner for me.
Okay, no, I see where you're coming from, but see, that spread is a little high. The more I look at it, I think Green Bay will win the match or win the game, but sorry, I like not the match. It's not football.
Yeah.
But I like the 49ers at plus 5.5, and if that spread goes to plus 6, I think I would even jump on it at plus 6 and even buy that point to get it to plus 7. I mean, I just see this line actually going up and down for the next 8 hours until kickoff.
San Francisco plus 5.5 is minus 115.
Yeah, and I think that it will start getting more money. I don't know which side these odds are going to go because it won't remain plus 5.5 at kickoff. I can guarantee you that almost. So there'll be a lot of movement going on.
Yeah. I could see that also if you want to do, to Gerry's point, if you want to take the Niners and get the hook, get the touchdown, minus 150.
See, that's not bad.
That's a digestible number for me. I don't like going over minus 180 personally. Minus 150. Yeah, minus 150 with a touchdown. Worst case, a push. Fuck, I'll take that for sure.
Mm-hmm. 100%. No, I would definitely do that, but I'm like you. I don't go over minus 180, but I always look for the pluses. I always look for the high pluses. So now I'm skimming through to see where are the defensive touchdown prop right now to see, because like I said, you know what? Even Jimmy G to throw 2 interceptions, I see that happening in the cold weather. They'll be down 2 interceptions, and that's one of my favorite bets to bet during the playoffs is a quarterback throwing 2 interceptions. I'm trying to see if they have that right here. But a defensive touchdown, I think there's a very good chance it will happen in the Green Bay Packers game. I don't know if you could choose which team will get the defensive touchdown.
Yeah.
But I like the Packers to get a defensive touchdown.
I love it.
That's
so
one of my bets.
We're on opposite sides. We're on opposite sides of the game spreads, with Gerry going to lay the points with the Titans and take them with the San Francisco 49ers. I'm going on the other side. Don't forget, we'll be back here tomorrow for the remaining 2 divisional games. Of course, can't wait. We're all waiting for the Rams and the Bucks. And, of course, the late game, the Buffalo Bills at Kansas City. Can Patrick Mahomes get to 3 straight AFC Championship games? And I love this, that the late game tomorrow is a 6:30 kickoff. So guys like me that wake up at 4 a.m. for work, I can watch this whole game.
You won't fall asleep.
Thanks, brother. Enjoy the football. I'll see you tomorrow morning.
Take care.